What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rant show. Today we're back with a Wrasslin Rants video, and today's video we're looking back on the journey and the future journey of Cody Rhodes since he's returned back to WWE at WrestleMania 38. And we just need to jump straight into it. Cody Rhodes returned on WrestleMania 38 on Saturday. He came out as Vince McMahon's mystery opponent for Seth frickin' Rollins. And obviously we all kind of speculated, and around that time of Mania when I was making videos, we all kind of predicted that Cody Rhodes would return to WWE. We seen the reports and we seen the rumors, the news about it, but not an official, not confirmed obviously. So we were all kind of in the back of our head when obviously Seth's match was about to start. We were all kind of wishing it was going to be Cody. Some people speculated it was going to be Bray Wyatt and even Shane McMahon, which that would have made the whole world cry. no problem with either of them two, by the way. But yeah, out of nowhere, Cody Rhodes, you hear his music, and to be honest with you, I don't really watch AEW, but I didn't know who it was at first when I heard the music until I saw the Titantron and the screens and around the arena say American Nightmare and his logo. Then I knew it was Cody. But when I first heard his music, and wrestling has more than one royal family, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know who it was, but after obviously listening to it and after the match, I find out that that's his AEW music, and I thought it was pretty cool. And his AEW gear, his AEW name, the American Nightmare, and the way Mike Rome just announced him coming down the ramp before he's about to face Seth Rollins, that was amazing. Mike Rome is the best. But yeah, we seen Seth Rollins take on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and that was a instant classic match. That was an amazing match, and we even got to see Cody Rhodes hit the Stardust in the middle of the ring. And it was a great match. I'm a Seth Rollins fan, and I was willing to accept the fact that he was going to lose this match, but which was okay because Seth put on a great match and a great performance versus Cody, and it's a well-earned victory by Cody Rhodes. He ended up beating Seth Rollins. It was a great moment, and obviously months later, which is recently for now, Cody Rhodes was an ESPY award for his return at WrestleMania, which fair play and congratulations to him for that. And then now we move on. It's the night after WrestleMania. Cody comes down to the ring. Obviously his entrance, the Cody Vader, I think that's what he calls it, ends up getting stuck. So before his entrance came out, you could just see his head popping out, which is kind of hilarious. As well as that, as he walked down the ramp, his pyro didn't go until he walked back to the ring, and yeah, then his pyro went. So off to a bit of a shaky start there by the pyro guys on the entrance. But Cody Rhodes came down to the ring and he cut a great promo on why he came back and let the fans know why he came back. But before he could do that, the crowd just gave him this standing ovation. The crowd, since his return, the crowd has been behind Cody every show. So you can tell Cody Rhodes right now is the biggest face in WWE, obviously besides Roman. Then he comes out, he cuts his promo, says why he's back, says he wants to fulfill his family's legacy. He wants to bring home a world title, a WWE championship specifically to the Rhodes family, which unfortunately his dad wasn't able to accomplish, since the match he won for the WWE title back a couple years ago was by countout. And champion's advantage, you can with a belt that way. So Cody said he wants to dedicate this run, and if he wins the future title, he wants to dedicate it and do all of this whole run for the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Which instantly, it's such a great promo by Cody. Then we see Seth come down to the ring. Seth Rollins trotting down the ring, the whole arena singing along to his theme song, which was absolutely amazing. And he comes down, we're expecting some promo, a little bit of a session there going back and forth with each other. That's what I was expecting anyways. Then I thought Seth just turned face. Seth comes down to the ring and shakes Cody's hand, says welcome home, and just leaves. So there we are. That's the first segment on his first Raw in 6 years for Cody Rhodes, which he came out, delivered a great promo. His entrance is a bit of a botch, and him and Seth Rollins ended up shaking hands. So yeah, can't complain that much about it. Then over the next couple of weeks, Cody Rhodes been having matches on Raw with Kevin Owens, and having a United States title match with Austin Theory, which he which he won, but again by disqualification from an interference from Seth Rollins. Then he's been having his continuous amazing moments in the ring, such as reuniting, having a little reunion with Randy Orton from their days in Legacy back a couple of years ago, which was very, very cool to see if you're like me, who grew up watching that era of WWE. And we got to see some amazing things. We got to see the rematch as well, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins 2 at WrestleMania Backlash, which I think they should really change that name back to Backlash. And of course, nonetheless, Cody Rhodes and Seth put on another great performance. This time I was kind of hesitant. I thought Seth was going to win this match, obviously just to get 1-1, because I think we all knew it was going to be like a trilogy. Obviously they had a rivalry going on, but we go kind of expect so they can like play it out to the last match. But nonetheless, as the match is going on perfectly, everything was going smoothly, then Cody Rhodes gets the roll of victory and he wins. So he's 2-0, guess it says, so he's kind of already won. Even if Seth won the last match, Cody has more wins, so he already won a trilogy. So obviously this is playing mind games to Seth. He's getting frustrated because he's taking these continuous losses to someone he doesn't like, as he stated in his promo, which we're about to talk about right now, because this segment right here was absolutely gold. So this segment right here was on the 30th of May episode of Monday Night Raw. We've seen Cody Rhodes come out, deliver another great promo as usual on Seth Rollins, talking about their match coming up at Hell in a Cell this weekend. At that weekend previous, obviously. Then Seth comes down to the ring, actually my bad, Seth comes through the crowd, as he did a couple of years ago with the Shield, and just talks to Cody. This is Cody, and mentions his time in AEW with his buddies. Obviously he says, I'm gonna quote Seth on here, he said, "You and your little friends try to tear down what I was building here," which obviously is referring to his time in AEW and the people obviously working there. And then he also keeps saying multiple times that he does not like Cody Rhodes, which Cody Rhodes seemed to enjoy. Then he also mentioned, again, I'll quote Seth on this, "You can't take a sledgehammer to the throne, then try to come back and take that throne from me." Which again, referring to that moment in AEW where Cody Rhodes took a sledgehammer to a somewhat similar to Triple H's throne just to fire a shot at him. So these two are going back and forth at each other. They're like, this whole rivalry in general between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins has been 5-star every step of the way. It's been arguably rivalry of the year in my opinion. I might be sounding a little bit biased about that because they're both one of my favorites. So they go back and forth with each other in a great little segment on Monday Night Raw. Then out of nowhere, they go for a brawl with each other. After Seth kind of teased that he was going to brawl with him, he walked away, but Cody wasn't having none of that. Cody hopped over the barricade, then they're going for it, and Cody nonetheless puts Seth through the barricade next to the commentary table. Then them two are just going back and forth, just like beating the hell out of each other. It was a great little segment there of just like two guys who just despise each other. It's what you kind of want from like a heated rivalry like this, and it kind of shows you like this how Seth Rollins doesn't like Cody Rhodes. Obviously Cody Rhodes doesn't really mind Seth, but he doesn't want to be too nice to him anymore, as he says in his promo. So they're just beating the hell out of each other around the announce table. So they end up getting split up and dragged away. Then they fight on the opposite side of the ring. They're still going at each other. Then Cody gets dragged backstage, that's chanting around the place and celebrating as he just won or like beat him in that little moment there. Then again, Cody Rhodes runs down the ramp and jumps Seth Rollins from behind. They're pulling against each other on the ground, and I think it was Cody Rhodes who just lost his shoe in that little moment there, what was happening. And the whole crowd, you can understand this as well, the whole crowd chanting, "This is awesome," as it was a great little moment there for their build up at Hell in a Cell, which that's the next thing we're going to talk about. We see Hell in a Cell, and we obviously remember the last couple of Hell in a Cell matches. They're a bit lackluster, they're a bit sloppy, and they just weren't enjoyable at all, especially for Seth Rollins then, which thank God finally we see a great Hell in a Cell match for Seth Rollins, at least. Obviously with Cody Rhodes, it was again another 5-star instant classic. Cody Rhodes won the match, so he won the trilogy 3-0. Fair play to him. But as we remember, the last time we seen Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell was against the Fiend Bray Wyatt, which we all know how that went. There's no point talking about that. So we seen Cody Rhodes come down to the ring. Before I was jumping ahead there. Before we seen Cody come down to the ring, we seen Seth Rollins come down to the ring, and Seth Rollins wearing the famous Dusty Rhodes polka dots on his attire, obviously dissing the Rhodes family and Cody Rhodes himself just to play mind games with him before their match ends up starting. And then we see Cody Rhodes come down to the ring. All is normal. When he did his entrance, noticed that one of his arms didn't go up, because I read earlier that day reports, if you guys remember, that Cody was injured, so everyone was kind of worried that he wasn't going to show up tonight or wrestle tonight. You know, that kind of usual stuff. So Cody Rhodes coming down to the ring. Them two are staring eye to eye in the ring in the middle of Hell in a Cell. It was a great moment right there. And then, nonetheless, Cody Rhodes took off his jacket, and we just behold this massive bruise on his pec, which, again, obviously we all know, Cody Rhodes tore his pec right off the bone, which just looked absolutely brutal. Like, that looks like a serious injury. Like, I noticed that straight away. The first thing that came to my head was when Triple H did his when he was at Crown Jewel having his match, if you guys remember that a couple of years ago. So this looked absolutely brutal, looked nasty, all the blood underneath it. And this is where the whole world just came together and showed props to Cody Rhodes for still wrestling like a 20-30 minute match with Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell with as Montez says, one booby, if you guys seen that on last night's Monday Night Raw. So it was an awesome match. Cody Rhodes won the match. Personally, out of the whole rivalry, the whole 3 matches they had with each other, I think the Hell in a Cell was their best match. Obviously Mania holds up his own as well because he returned, but match wise is Hell in a Cell, and we also got to finally see Cody Rhodes hit a pedigree in that match. Rollins finally got to stomp Cody's head in. Then it was just a great moment. Cody went through a table. It was an amazing match. It was a spectacular Hell in a Cell match. I know that sounds crazy there, but it was about time we seen a good Hell in a Cell match. It's been a little bit. Very much enjoyable that was to see. And so we see the next following night, we see Cody Rhodes come down to the ring after his victory. He says to the crowd that he'll be out for a while, but also teases that above his head was the Money in the Bank briefcase, which if he somehow can come back in time, he'll like to win, which like he ended up doing. He didn't come back in time, which that's not his fault. He should recover that easily. We all didn't expect that, because pectoral injuries tend to take months and months of recovery and rehab. So Cody Rhodes ended up thanking the crowd, and Seth Rollins comes down to the ring. Again, we're like, oh, for God's sake, Seth Rollins is back again. How's this rivalry still going on? Seth Rollins comes down to the ring, lets Cody know that Dusty Rhodes is very proud of his baby boy, which again, I think that's the whole moment again where we thought Seth was going to go face, which Seth hasn't been faced in years. It was a beautiful moment of 2 generational talents hugging it out, giving each other respect, both looking like they're sore. Obviously Cody with his pec and Seth also limping down to the ring. So it was a cool moment to see them two finally somewhat feel like they're ending their rivalry with respect there. And obviously Seth saying that to Cody, obviously you could tell by Cody's face how much that meant to him to hear that. And obviously to Seth as well, because Dusty was one of the people that brought Seth up into WWE and one of his students. So it was a great moment there on Raw. Fair play to both of them too. It was a great match, great trilogy, great rivalry. It was amazing, and the best part of 2022 in WWE so far, in my opinion. So we think that's it. We hear Kingdom play in the background. We think that's it. Cody Rhodes goes up to the ramp after shaking hands with Seth Rollins, thanking the crowd, waving at the crowd. The crowd are wondering when the next time we'll see Cody again. Cody's all happy then. There he is. There's big Seth Rollins from behind, sledgehammer to the back of the head, and the whole crowd are booing him out the building. Seth Rollins looks furious. He looks so angry with Cody. Seth Rollins ends up going on the top of Cody, ripping off his t-shirt and revealing the pec muscle again, which was Cody torn. Obviously you can see more bruising on it now after Hell in a Cell. Seth Rollins tells the referees to go away. He picks up the sledgehammer, and now he's going on top of Cody, trying to move his arm away from Cody. Cody's trying to protect his injured pec, and Seth Rollins just stomps with his somewhat loafers looking shoes, stomps Cody right in the pec muscle that is injured, then picks up the sledgehammer and just really like stabs it in a way and pokes the injured pec muscle with it. So that was kind of a brutal moment. Obviously he's showing the crowd again that Cody won't be back for another while. So kind of a sad way to see Cody go out. That was the last time he was on WWE TV. And kind of the end of the rivalry somewhat in a way. Unless Seth is just trying to say there he must have the last laugh. So that was Cody Rhodes' last time in WWE since his injury. And yeah, that's Cody Rhodes' return so far in WWE. And now, since we've talked about what he's done in WWE, let's talk about and predict what he's gonna do in WWE. So obviously Cody's out now for a couple of months. Many are predicting Cody Rhodes might make it for the Royal Rumble in 2023, which I think we all would as well. Cody Rhodes return into the Royal Rumble at number 30, come out and win the Rumble hopefully and challenge whoever the champion is, whether it's Roman or if Drew's going to win at Clash of the Castle, which we will make a prediction video when the time comes closer for WWE's Clash of the Castle, and I'll talk about that soon. Or whether it's Seth Rollins even, if we see them two go in the ring again, which I feel like we would, or in the near future, we'll definitely see them two in the ring again eventually. But, so Cody Rhodes, if he did return at Royal Rumble, he should win the Rumble, obviously. Or if he didn't win the Rumble, Seth should come out and eliminate him just to continue their rivalry and more deeper, if you will. So, you know, that's for that answer anyways. He should win the Rumble if he's back in time for the Rumble. If he's not, because since the trilogy's out the way, either way, even if he wins the Rumble or not, Cody should challenge or put himself in the world title scene. Again, whether that's Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins or even Brock Lesnar if he comes back, Cody Rhodes should immediately be put into the world title scene, as the dude carried the Monday Night Raw scene throughout the whole of 2022. Well, not the whole of 2022, the majority of 2022 so far since he's been back. So I say put him in a world title scene, building him up, or even have him win the Elimination Chamber, which I'm kind of like thinking right now they should stop this undisputed universal title stuff and just like give Raw the WWE Championship back and let Roman still have his universal. It's like it's very frustrating just to have the two belts from both shows on one guy who barely shows up. Like Raw was last night and Roman was even there and he's holding the Raw title, so you know that's kind of disappointing. So in a way, let Rollins or someone challenge Roman for the title, take the Raw title at least off Roman, then obviously Cody win it, which more or less I think Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre should beat Roman, which again, because I'm going to get off topic about Clash of the Castle, but I'm predicting obviously when Cody's back, immediately, because Triple H is now the owner and he took over, immediately put Cody into the world title scene, no questions asked. Maybe you can try resurrect him or build him up again, get that hype around him again, which I don't think there's a need. The crowd are already always going to be behind him. I think immediately just throw him in the title scene. Or like obviously let him do his segments, his promo, but immediately just throw him in there. And there's not really much else to talk about because I think we all kind of know that Cody should straight up just be at the world title scene. And yeah, so far I think his run in WWE since leaving AEW and joining back to the company has been great. The dude has proved how gutsy he is, how much he wants this, how much he needs this as he says, and how much he loves doing this. So I have nothing but respect for Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins obviously, but Cody Rhodes, it just proves that he's a different breed after Hell in a Cell. Props to him for doing that and props for him for doing such a great performance there. And hopefully we get to see him back again very, very soon. And can't wait to see what he does next, even if he doesn't go for a world title match or the world title scene. I can't wait to see him back and I can't wait to see what he does after. So I think so far his run in WWE surprisingly has been very good, because like as we know, even when with the NXT call-ups or when someone returns to the company, their return after a while, it gets boring, the crowd doesn't get behind them. But for Cody, it's been nothing but support, it's been nothing but love from the crowd. It's been absolutely amazing. He's been having great matches and great segments on Raw. He's been showing up to mostly every Raw and the pay-per-views. So yeah, I think Cody Rhodes, probably as much as the AEW fans will hate it, he made a wise decision leaving AEW for WWE, as he proved in his run how great he's been. So again, props to them two lads, and yeah, I can't wait to see what Cody Rhodes does next, and Seth Rollins as well. I'm hoping them two can be again finally one more time in a match, then just call it quits. Preferably as well in the long run, I'd love to see these two again have a rematch at WrestleMania coming up, but for one of the titles, either the Universal or the WWE Championship, which that would be a great moment for Cody Rhodes to fulfill his family's destiny. Let me guys know in the comment section below what you guys think should be the next move for Cody. What should he do when he comes back to the company, or is there anybody in the company right now you would like to see Cody Rhodes have a feud with or have a match with? Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed today's wrestling rants, and I thank you all for watching. Make sure you leave a like and you subscribe, and I'll chat to you all later.